So, namaste, my dear friends, and everyone who joined up. I'm so happy to see you. Many familiar places, as from Switzerland, Germany, Britain, Austria, and very happy of Bulgaria, of course, our magical Pangan in Thailand. It is very cool to see all of you and to see also new people and new unfamiliar faces, which I hope with time we're gonna get to know and discover each other. So today it's a very interesting topic. I saw the discussion that we had inside of our Amanita family chat. There's a topic which is quite crucial, connected about Amanita Muscaria and the topic about pharmaceuticals and medications. And it's all connected with one topic, actually. It's connected with the topic of healing and the development of our soul. So when, as I see many people need some guidance and assistance in understanding these questions deeper, I felt a call to organize today's Zoom call and to give some insights, so that these insights with the system help you to understand better this topic. And if anybody would ask you about can Amanita help with this or that, then you would know the answers based by the experience which I have already went through with the work with other people, and with the results that people have achieved. So we're gonna structure our today's Zoom calls that first I'll give a lecture. Then afterwards, I'll go to the questions which were written down inside of our chat and were sent to me in private messages. And afterwards, we can have some discussions and already question and answers in a live form. And I would very gladly hear your feedbacks and also your insights, which things were interesting for you to discover. So does that sound good? Yeah, raise your thumbs if that sounds good. Awesome. So let's then start. Well, first of all, we have to understand that all of this life is created for only or for one purpose, and that is the purpose of our soul. All of this reality, this avatar, all the people that we see, everything is created for our soul. Our soul is the crucial element in this game that we call reality. And the soul plays the most fundamental role in the process of anything, what is happening in your life, especially what is connected with your health, with your energy, with your happiness, and includingly medications, addictions, and everything negative. So if you want to find an answer towards the question about how to let go of any type of addiction, you have to, first of all, focus on your soul. So, but how does it work? Let's try to explain it more simply. So, all of this, it's like a digital game which was created purely for the evolution of our soul. So everything what you're experiencing here is focused that your soul would develop and get that experience, what it needs here, and for which it came for. And our soul is playing through not only the physical body that we always see and that everybody speaks and shares about, but we also have two more bodies, and that is an emotional body and a mental body. This is ancient knowledge, and already more than 5,000 years ago, and all the previous civilizations, they knew about it, that the human life is not only limited with the physical body, but there are other worlds, and that our soul is playing as physical body, emotional body, and mental body. So what does it mean? How to understand it in a practical way? Well, if you're going to pinch yourself or you're going to hit your arm or foot, you will be fully present in your physical body. You will fully have your consciousness and attention in what you feel in your physical body and what you're experiencing here. Then, if you have any type of problem or any type of, say, of sadness, then or something is happening what you don't like, then our consciousness, it moves from the physical body, we start to ignore it, and we go to the emotional body. So the emotional body, it carries inside of it everything what we feel, everything what we experience, everything what we're right now are having in our life. So our consciousness can be present physical body or emotional body, or eventually it can go to the mental body. The mental body, it's our brain, logic, imagination, past, future, everything that is connected with a thinking process, it's already connected with our mental body. So in other words, our soul is playing through our consciousness through a physical body, emotional body, mental body. Why is this so important to understand? That all of this is interconnected, and you cannot heal one or work with one without having the impact on the others and the other way. So when we study ancient medicines, for example, for Chinese or Ayurvedic Indian, or anything what is more than 5,000 years, all of them perfectly knew that if you want to understand the essence of a problem or a sickness or anything what is happening inside of the person, you have to analyze all of these three things at the same time, because all of them carry inside important information. So based, for example, by the Ayurveda knowledge and the Chinese, we know, ancient Chinese medicine, we know that every sickness, it's a reflection of a conflict that is happening inside of ourselves between our soul and our mind or our avatar. So our soul is not controlling fully this physical body. Our soul is more like sitting in a theater and observing what is happening around. And because we're not giving commands that I have to breathe now, or if to smile, I have to move this muscle. Everything happens automatically. We're not thinking that I have to now push with my heart the blood so over the blood veins, the blood would flow. This is automatic, which gives us the understanding that the processes happening inside of our avatar are many things are automated on the function of the brain. So what happens when there's a conflict between the avatar and the soul? What happens when the avatar that we came to play with our soul is doing nonsense and it's not doing for what we came for? In other words, imagine that you're playing a computer game, you have a character, for example, Sims, and the Sims that you created is doing some nonsense. You're trying to control him, but he's still doing some kind of nonsense. Eventually, if we cannot get the control over the character, we start to manipulate him. We start to send him, create for him some kind of a problems and things that we could get the control over him. This is what more or less happens with every person who has addiction or has sicknesses. It's a conflict between the desires of the soul and the reason why it came here to play, and the physical body and the reality that the person is living through in this physical world by the action that he does. In other words, when the physical body is doing something what the soul doesn't want to do, it starts to create sicknesses, it starts to create pain, it starts to create problems. So that reason, any source of addiction or a sickness is connected with the conflict of the soul with the mind, or the soul with the avatar, because the mind controls the avatar. So that's why inside of us, we have constantly dialects, the dialects between our soul, which is trying to get the control over our avatar, and our brain, which is has a totally different function. The brain is created in this physical world. It is created so that our physical bodies would adapt in this physical world. For that reason, if the physical, let's say, if we're doing something that our mind doesn't understand, or our mind doesn't want to invest the energy in, it tries to block it. For that reason, we as humans, as any other type of being which has a brain, it is lazy. Lazy because the brain tries to save the energy inside of our avatars and give it only then when there's a critical point when we have to save our lives, or there's something very problematic happening that would create danger towards our lives. So for that reason, our mind manipulates us through emotions and logic, so we wouldn't act and we wouldn't do the things which maybe our soul wants to do. Because to do what our soul wants to do, we have to be strong enough. We need to have energy inside of us. We need to understand what we want. We need to have a clearance where we're heading. But the majority of people don't know who they are. They don't know what their soul wants. They have forgotten the purpose of their reincarnation in this life form. So how can the soul create connection with the mind and get the control over the body? It needs to sense problems, impacts, sicknesses, hard feelings, stress, so that the mind and we would awaken, so it would shake us and we think, why is this happening? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should focus on something. So of that reason, people get, let's say, bad feelings inside, or stress inside, or pressure inside. So the difference between, let's say, modern medicine and the medicine of the ancient times, that in the ancient times, they always connected that the pain that we have right now and the sickness that is connected not only with our physical body, but is connected with a problem which is bigger, a problem, a conflict between our soul and the mind. So if we don't understand that there's a spiritual conflict inside of us, then the body will never heal. So the specialty about the medicine of the 20th century, there was a very strong focus literally only on the physical body, without the understanding of the reason. Why does a sickness come out? Why does a person feel depression? Or why does a person has a problem with his liver? Or why is a person, let's say, alcoholic? Or why does a person wants to be negative? Why does it happen? So this is already usually not in the specialty of knowledge of modern doctors. The most developed ones, of course, they look at it, but the majority are not educated to look deeper rather than they were taught in the university. They were taught that you should use this medications, you should tell the person this and this, you should take care of the physical body, and that's it. The rest is not your problem. So as a result, if we don't resolve the conflict inside of us, our soul feels pain, and through this pain, it creates a vibration which destroys our physical body. In other words, the soul feels pain. This pain is reflected in the physical body in different parts, and it's a way of communication of our soul with ourselves, so we would understand with what is connected to conflict. In Ayurvedic knowledge, we perfectly know how every organ and every part of the body is connected with a specific conflict between our soul and the mind. By understanding the root of the problem, we can understand with what our soul doesn't agree and heal our soul. When the soul is healed, then the pain is transformed and the body is not damaged. But I'll give an example of why a sickness comes. So the soul feels pain. We don't pay attention. We still continue to act and to do the things that we think are correct. But our soul doesn't agree. But we don't care because nobody cares about the soul. Everybody just thinks about, for example, making money or do that or do this, or other programs which were given by us, by our family or culture. Then afterwards, we don't listen to our soul, so this pain, it is still there. The vibration, the energy, it starts to have impact on the body. And then a sickness comes out. A pain that we ignore for a long time, it creates a sickness. If we don't start to work with the sickness and pay attention on it, it starts to create a chronic sickness. A chronic sickness is just a reflection when for a long time, a person didn't listen to what his soul was sending him. And then afterwards, after the chronic sickness, the soul says, okay, that's enough of me. I don't want to have this avatar. I'll just delete it. And then it creates a death sickness. It just destroys the avatar of the person because this avatar has no use for the soul. So for that reason, remember that inside of your body, even though you were educated that your body is the most important thing, no, your soul is the most important thing. If you don't take care of your soul, your body will be destroyed. Your body will feel pain. Your body will be sick, and you won't have a chance to take care and live that life which you want. So for that reason, if you want to get rid of any sickness, any, let's say, addiction, or anything what creates pressure inside of you, understand the root of the problem. Why am I having a conflict inside? And what is that conflict? Where I'm lying to myself. Because if you were not lying to yourself inside of your head, you wouldn't have the pain, you wouldn't have the sickness, you wouldn't have the addiction. And every person has to be bold enough and strong enough to learn to create honesty inside of ourselves. If you don't create honesty inside of yourself, then nothing will happen. And of that reason, if we don't understand the root of our conflict, the sickness will never heal. And even if a person makes an operation and cuts off the cancer where he had, a new cancer will come. Do you understand why? Because literally the problem is not solved. The conflict between the soul and the mind are not solved. For that reason, the core essence of any sickness or any addiction is pain. I'll repeat, the main fundament of a sickness and addiction is pain inside of our soul. And until you won't understand what is the pain inside of you, you won't let go of addiction. You won't let go of the sickness. For that reason, it is so important to start to analyze yourself and stop thinking about the surrounding world and to make a focus inside of yourself and start to focusing on the things which matter to you and understand what is that conflict which creates the stress and the tension inside of myself, or what is my soul trying to tell me. So it is very easy to manipulate those humans and avatars which have a low level of energy and have a lot of pain, because these people are very easy to manipulate. Because an avatar which controls the soul is very strong, is beautiful, it can do whatever it wants, it becomes very free, and it lives a very healthy and a free life. But when the avatar is not controlled by the soul, but is controlled by other entities, or is controlled by the program set up by the system, or by the culture, by the family, then this avatar loses its potential, and eventually the soul just, let's say, destroys it, up to the point until the consciousness of the person understands the reason and solves it. So, of that reason, if you want to understand the core essence of why some people like to drink, or why do they use different drugs, or why do they use medications, it's literally because in the 20th century, it was taught that to focus on healing just the pain, but without the root essence. That we would heal the pain, let's say that we have a sickness, we would eat a pill, our headache would go away, or this sickness would just like block out. But we wouldn't understand what is the root of it. And of this reason, the person would never get healthy. He would always return back to the medications. He would always bring his money back to the person who gave him the medication. And eventually the person would be, half alive. And this is what we need if we want to have obedient people, and if we want to have people who are limited in their actions. And unfortunately, in our world, we have until today slavery. The slavery, there's in different forms and ways. In some countries, they use financial slavery. In some countries, they use ideological slavery. In some countries, it's used other types, medication slavery. But eventually, slavery is a reflection when a person doesn't feel himself strong enough to live his life independently, and he doesn't feel that he's worthy living a happy life where he can do everything what his soul desires, and feeling that he deserves it. So, for that reason, to become or to be happy in our modern time, it really takes a lot of energy and strength. You really have to take care of yourself and to do the work inside of you to be a happy, free, healthy person in modern times. And that's why it's so hard to meet really strong, happy, beautiful people. And if you want to find out how many tired and sick people there are, well, you can speak with the doctors or just to look around. Like I have many doctors that approach me to assist them in going out from that reality where they're placed in. The reality of modern doctors is very sad, because they work with so many sick people that they don't believe that they're healthy and happy people in the world. Nobody assists them to work through those dynamics which they go through. And all of the people put their problems upon the doctor. And the doctors are not given the tools how to clean their own energy structure, how to transform those things inside of their consciousness with what they help the people. And as a result, it creates more sick people all around the world. So, from the aspect of medication, and from the aspect of, let's say, capitalism, of course, this is effective. Of course, this is very effective, that people would be always sick and they would come back and they would request for more medications, and that there would be obedient to the system, that they would think that if I don't have a hospital and doctor, I will die. If I don't have some pills, then I will suffer. So of that reason, all of these things are under our own responsibility. We live in such a free world that, or you use your freedom and you're the creator of your own reality, or if you don't use your freedom, somebody else will tell you what you should do. So we're so free that we can be slaves in this freedom. I'll repeat again. We're so free in this world that we can be slaves in this freedom if we don't use it for ourselves. And this is the modern reality. And the system generally is focused that people would have less energy inside of them, so they would never like to become independent, free, and do what they want, or to have the confidence that they can heal themselves. But for me, it always sounds very funny. We have no questions that we could control our mobile phones and program them, or we have no questions that a programmer can program a computer that he sits under. But we're surprised that we can control our own health and we can control our own avatars, and that we can heal ourselves. Doesn't it sound very stupid to you? That a human and the soul wouldn't have the opportunity to have all the instruments to heal itself, the physical body, the mental body, and emotional body? But this is the reality of what we're given. If a person is not thinking about his true powers, he would rather give his powers and authority, his powers to the authority, because it's much more easier, and our brain doesn't want to develop. So with joy, it would give away the power and the responsibility for our own health, for our own happiness, for our own sicknesses upon the system, the doctor, the situations, the family, the problems, the traumas, blah, 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 blah. So for that reason, we have to understand that if we meet a person or we have an addiction, we have to learn to be honest with ourselves, and we have to dive deep. We have to look inside of us and dig deeper into the answer why this happens to me. So, and now let's a little bit speak, how can Amanita help us by this? So Amanita is one of the most ancient medicines which we as humans have used for self-healing, development, and understanding what is happening inside of us. This is the most ancient mushroom, the most oldest ally that humanity has ever had in this physical world, on this planet, for the support and the help of understanding how to develop, how to adapt, and how to succeed here in this physical realm. Why I personally very much respect Amanita higher than any other type of mushrooms, as simply it's a tool that helps us to connect with our roots, with our soul. When, for example, psilocybin mushrooms we use, yes, it can help, but sometimes against depression, it can help to, let's say, restructure the brain cells. But the attention of the person is focused on the outside world. When Amanita, what it does, it gives us the power to look inside. It gives us the grounding power of being connected with ourselves in our essence. So of that reason, Amanita, it truly guides us towards our own powers. And this is the beauty of it, because every person needs to understand that you are powerful. You have the control over your life. Your life is a reflection of your actions. And if you want to change anything, then just change your actions. If you cannot change your actions, then start with focusing on yourself, on your mind, and making yourself clear where I'm acting in a way that my soul doesn't want to act. And start to treat yourself with love and respect. Do what you want, not what the system tells you, the family tells you, the surrounding tells, but do what you want. Do what makes you happy. Take care of your soul. You take care of your soul will take care of your body. Do you understand? And at the same time, if you just take care of your body and you don't take care of the soul will destroy your body. So simple. So the fundament in healing and transforming any type of sickness or addiction is the focus of understanding what does my soul want, and start to do what my soul wants, and start to put the importance in my life upon myself, not what others think, not what others want, not what is happening right now in the world. For example, I don't know, world economic crisis, wars, or etc. This is all an illusion. You understand? This reality is an illusion, like a computer game. It is created to stimulate you so you would forget about yourself and forget about your powers in your reality. So if you know that, you focus on yourself, you listen to yourself, and then you solve those conflicts by doing correct conclusions and then changing your actions so you would feel happy again. So Amanita, how can it help with any type of sickness and disease? That Amanita, it's a great spirit, which is not only limited with our human planet or this universe. It has such a potential that it's hard to imagine for a human brain. Our brain are limited. But this great power can assist us only with those things that we request. If we don't request, no help is given. This works on all of the levels. Like I heal and work with people for over 13 years already. And I can tell you that if you help a person who is not asking for help, you're going to take their bad karma upon yourself. The person will run away or hate you. They will put the responsibility upon their problems upon you. And then afterwards, they will say, like, you saw, I told you, it doesn't work. And as a result, you will feel empty. You will have more problems. And that person, maybe he will have for a small amount of time that it becomes better, but then he will fall so much deeper because he didn't learn the lesson. His soul didn't go through this evolutional point where he made his own conclusion and got the experience that he needs to. So for that reason, we have to respect every person, his path, the path of his soul. If a person is very sick, that is his choice. If a person has cancer, that is his choice. If a person has addiction, that is his choice. And the only thing what we can do to assist these people is when they are helping themselves. And helping themselves is at least by starting to ask for help, to be open about your problems, being honest with yourself. What do I need? What is my problem? And if the person cannot be honest with himself and he cannot even speak about his own problem, then don't touch him. Or you're going to take his bad karma, his problems, his energy upon your own structure. Do you need that? The same way, Amanita. It has the potential of curing or assisting a person to cure anything because our soul cures us. You understand? Not Amanita. Amanita just helps us to get with our soul the control over our own bodies and through the healing of our souls to heal our body. If there's no request, Amanita won't do the work. Because if you don't connect with what you're requesting and you don't request and you don't act, then no help, no magic will happen. Many people who start to work with Amanita on a higher level or join me in the Amanita Diary course, they see that Amanita is not a magical pill. It is totally not, because the magic is us. We're the magic. Amanita is just an ally. And or you do the work upon yourself, or you don't do. Who does the work, he gets results. Who doesn't do the work, he stays the same. He might have healed himself better during the time that he microdoses, but then he stops and he falls back. into the old algorithms of the mind. And the reality doesn't change much. So for that reason, if you decide and you want to really heal, really transform, you have to be ready for individual work. I'll repeat, if you want to heal, you have to be ready to dive into your own shit. Swimming in your shit, nobody will do for you. You're the only one who will swim there because you're the one who created it. And only by cleaning yourself from that and understanding why did I shit in my reality, inside of my avatar, inside of my mind, inside of my emotional, mental body. This is our own responsibility because only we can clean it. You understand? Because it's our own structure. If we don't clean ourselves, nobody will do that. And if we don't clean our structure from that past hard experience, suppressed emotions and feelings, traumas, subpersonalities, and that pain which we have gathered in our lives, it doesn't go away anywhere and will continue to impact on our structure and will continue to create for us such tension which we will want to block and block through medications, block through different addictions, because people focus on using any type of substances literally because or there's too much pain inside or there's less energy inside. These two, I'll repeat, two main factors why people have addictions or use medications, or they have too much pain or too less energy. Because and this is quite funny, because to heal, you need to have energy. So every time when, for example, in many cases, like pharmaceutical companies or psychiatrists or doctors provide the people like painkillers, opioids, or any other type of things which lower down the pain, you have to understand that it has to be in a very wise way, because if we will take away all of the pain, we won't understand the reason. Why do we have it on the first hand? And to make a conclusion or to jump out from that hole of shit, we need to have energy. If we don't have the energy, it's very hard to make a conclusion. What do I have to now to learn to transform? So simple. And that's why if we speak about capitalism and capitalistic medicine, it is very, very effective that people would have less energy, that they would never focus on their soul and understanding by themselves the reasons of their sickness, and not understanding that we are the main healers of ourselves. And at the same time, we're the main destroyers of ourselves. So we can or heal ourselves or destroy ourselves. And the only way in how we can achieve in healing is we have to become happy. That's it. And at the same time, to become happy, you need to have energy. Happiness is the language of the soul. If you're happy, then your soul means it's happy. And if you have a happy soul, it will heal. You have a different vibration inside of you, and it will assist you to overcome any type of a disease. It will transform any type of a sickness inside of your structure. But if the soul is not happy, even though you can make a very expensive operations, the body will still be destroyed. And this is what we can see quite often with cancer. People sometimes make 2, 3, 5 operations about cancer, and they still die. And the families that take care of that, they pay a huge amount of money, and the physical body goes through a huge amount of stress. But because nobody solves the conflict between the soul and the body, or the mind, there's no results. But for capitalistic medicine, it's very effective, because by understanding, let's say, the family and people have such big fear about their health issues that they're willing to pay any money if somebody tells them that they will die soon. And this is a different topic about death, but I'll just briefly touch it. If we know that this body is limited and that our soul is unlimited, that it lives forever, then we have no fear about losing the body, because we know we will continue to live on with our soul. But if we don't know that, if we forget about our soul, And we think that the only thing what is real is this physical body. And it's very, very easy to manipulate. It's very easy to create fear inside the mind that is afraid to die because it doesn't understand what is death. And through that, it's very easy to take out all of the money or all which you have just for saving your life. This is why in capitalism, it is especially so crucial that people would be uneducated about their own powers over control over their own health. So of that reason, you can now understand why the world, especially in the 20th century, yeah, the medicine develops, but the amount of sick people develops with it. Have you seen the numbers on how many more sick people we have around the world, even though that our medicine is so much more developed? How many people would die from cancer? How many people would die from overweight? How many people die from heart disease? If you just take the heart disease, then it's about 10 times more than people died from the scary COVID. The amount and the numbers of the 3 top sicknesses are just tremendous. It kills more people than wars do. But this is a reflection of the current state of reality where we're living. And the only way how we can change it is not to carry responsibility for other people, but first of all, to take responsibility for own life, for own avatar, for your own soul. Start with yourself. Just take care of yourself. Just start to be happy. Start to understand, what do I want? Why did I came to this physical world, this reincarnation? What are the aims and the goals that I want to achieve with my soul with this reincarnation? What will make me happy? What it means for me to be myself? You know how less people know the answers to these questions? You would be shocked. You can ask your friends and ask them like, can you tell me what is the purpose of your life? And he's like, whoa. Or if you would ask a person, how many of you can say here for themselves, with yourself inside of you, it's like, what it means for me to be myself? Do you know yourself? You know, this already question, if you find the answer to it, you will transform and heal, and you will gonna use your own energy and powers over your own avatar, or let's say over your own computer, and you'll become the programmer of your own computer, and you won't have to call other programmers to come and to help you. So simple it is. So if we don't understand our godly nature, if we don't understand that we have the full control over our bodies, over our emotions, over our mental processes, over our reality, then we will always give away the responsibility for our lives upon somebody else. And this will never create the results that we desire, the results of feeling happy, being healthy, and to let go of any sickness or addiction. So of that reason, when we start to work with Amanita, it is very important to notice that be ready to work with yourself. Be ready that when you're using Amanita and you're asking for healing, there will come sometimes unpleasant feelings, unpleasant emotions from the past. There will come up sometimes memories from childhood. Sometimes there can be even very strong traumas rising up from childhood that you totally forgot. And it is normal. We have to learn to deal with our own life experience, what we're going through. Because if we won't take care of ourselves and we won't allow ourselves to understand our life, our soul, and what we went through, nobody will help us. We're the creators and we're the healers and we're the destroyers of ourselves and our own reality. So that's why when we start to work with Amanita and we ask Amanita, for example, Amanita, help me to heal my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, my energetic body. Help me to let go of this or that sickness or this and that addiction. Help me to see clear and be happy. That when we request it, Amanita will start to assist and will start to smoothly rise up from our own structure up that material, those codes which are stuck inside of us. Our bodies are like a hardware or hard drive. This hard drive, it saves all information that we went through in life. And every moment that you suppress your feelings, emotions, or the things that you wanted to say, to express, where you didn't agree, it all saves inside. For that reason, when a person has betrayed himself for many times, for example, the person doesn't want to do this work or he doesn't want to do that, then eventually when he constantly repeats it, then it always leaves a mark in the body. So as you know, what they say that the soul, let's say the eyes are the soul, the mirror of the soul. I can tell you the body is the reflection of the conflicts and the soul between the soul and the mind. You can easily just look on the face and the body of the person and understand momently what are his conflicts, where is he lying to himself, what are those issues that he doesn't want to solve, where is the energy stuck, and eventually which sicknesses might appear. And this, of course, gives the understanding why this or that person is using those or those substances. He uses, for example, alcohol or smoking or medications or any of that. So simply not to feel the pain. But the pain, it's beautiful if we understand that the pain is actually showing us where we have to focus our attention. But what do we usually do in modern medicine? We try to block the pain. We try not to understand why it came out. We just try to block it. And through that, people don't become more healthy. People just get, for a small moment, this peace, but later on they get even more problems. Because or you solve the problem, or it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So for that reason, it is very cool to understand that pain is actually guiding us towards those lessons and understandings which are important for our soul to understand right now for its next step of evolution. The better you understand the pain you have inside, the better you can understand what I have to do, and so that I would feel happy, or what I have to do that my soul truly wants. Because the pain shows you where the answer is no. So when you know that this is no, you understand where's the yes. That's why it's so important to analyze your life, your feelings. Exactly, feelings. I'll repeat, analyze your feelings, listen to your feelings. Feelings is the language of the soul. And once you descript, and understand in a simple way what does this or this pain means for me, you become wiser, you become stronger, you become free, because you don't have to repeat anymore. Fear is transformed into strength when we look at it and understand the reason, and then by understanding it, the fear disappears. The mind has fear only on the topics that it doesn't understand. Once you understand the root, you can transform it. You can get what you want. And you can do those actions which are important for you. So for this reason, the first thing, if you want to let go of addiction, if you want to let go of any sickness, just start to be honest with yourself. And for that, I highly recommend to have a psychotherapist, a psychologist, or a diary. If you don't have a high-end psychotherapist, use yourself a diary. Diary is the most easy way to reflect upon your own life, upon yourself, and to see what is truly happening inside of us. And to write in this diary honestly about how you feel, what is happening, and just to have the analysis. What are you sending yourself through the pain? And what are you sending yourself through the things that are happening in your life? And where are you guiding yourself with your soul in this physical world? As we already know that the most important in this reality is our soul. So it's the same way how you can describe it, that any computer game is created for the player that sits at the computer. The same here. This reality is made for the soul that is just playing in this avatar. So if we don't understand, let's say, I worked in game development, and that's why I like to make easy comparisons. So if we don't take care of the player, nobody will play the game. The same here. If we don't take care of our souls, the soul doesn't want to play, and it creates for ourselves problems. And it creates all the rest of the things which guide us into pain, suffering, destruction. So another very important topic, that there are different types of addictions. And I'll tell you an interesting fact that maybe not all of you know, that there's also a biological addiction towards suffering and negativity. So I personally went through this perfectly in my life when I was always, my attitude was in life, you set yourself a goal and you just reach it. And I don't care what happens around, I'll just reach my goal with my willpower. And I will learn everything along the way. So I would ignore my pain, I would ignore my desires of the soul, I would ignore everything just to achieve the goal that I want to. This is for many men, for the majority, the tactic that they follow in reaching success. But in this tactic, there's a very, let's say, big weak point. That if we simply do everything on willpower and our soul doesn't like it, we will eventually have problems with health, we would have less energy, and etc. But on top of it, our body gets used to negativity, and our body starts to develop specific biochemistry elements, for example, cortisol or adrenaline or other type of things which are developed through stress. And these elements start to become the fuel of our energy inside of our avatars. So in other words, we would get a boost of energy when we feel anger, fear, stress. And if we don't have the stress, if we don't have somebody shouting on us, or we don't have a deadline, we would feel ourselves energetically empty, as if life doesn't have a taste. And this is just a reflection that this means that your body is right now addicted to negativity and stress, and through that it gets the energy. And to transform our biochemistry level inside of our bodies, it takes time. It takes at least 2-3 months switching from one type of biochemistry inside of our body to a new type. So that's why if you are living always your life in a fight and stress, don't be surprised that you will want in the first 2-3 months to go back to that stress, to those problems, to that negative, for example, music, to those negative people, to those events which create stress and problems for you where you have to fight. This is a biological addiction of our bodies. And to change it, we have to understand that it takes time. And to live in peace, in harmony, and lightness, it really takes time. We have to give our bodies the time to restructure itself and its biological algorithms. So for that reason, when people trying to let go of different addictions, for example, like alcohol or any drug substance or medications, many of them have not only a biological connection with the substance, but they also have a biological addiction towards those elements which are developed through this pressure, through the stress. So by knowing this, we have to treat ourselves with love and support. And if you decided to transform yourself, give yourself the time. Give yourself at least 2-3 months for the transformation. Know yourself that you will feel yourself like a junkie sometimes, that you would like to go into negativity, or I marked myself when I was going through transformation. Well, when I was a teenager, oh man, I so much loved like hard rock. I loved alternative rock, sometimes metal, and eventually through that music, I was gaining my strength and my powers to overcome the challenges. And I noticed myself that this, let's say, that music was giving me the energy, but actually it was giving me just my system through this negativity, a protection method that would get a boost of energy. And it was so interesting to see that at a certain point, once I healed myself, I let go of the desire of creating for myself inside of me stress through the music or stress through the video content, what I watch. For example, some people love to watch, I don't know, horror films, or like to watch like detective stories, or they like to watch where somebody is being killed. So pay attention. If there's a lot of negativity, then this can show you that your body is cooked up on this negative, on those, let's say, biochemistry, which is connected with stress and negativity. So just always remember, we are a hardware. What we get inside, that is to what we adapt. So for healing from an addiction or any type of pain, we need to start to take care of ourselves and to understand that it will take time to reach success. And with Amanita, let's say here, this process can happen a lot faster, like a lot faster, that you would heal from, let's say, a very, for example, chronic depression, which was lasting for you for 5 years, 10 years, or so on. You can heal through it with Amanita, but it will take time. You need to give yourself the time. You need to give yourself at least 3 months of work. Because if you were collecting like 10, 20 years or more stress and problems inside of your structure and you never let it out, magic won't happen. You will still have to allow yourself to transform all of the blockings. So for that reason, the highest results with working Amanita and also letting go of addiction, it happens by people who are ready to do the work upon themselves and who are willing to transform all of the things which have suppressed, which were suppressed in our lives. So which things? Yes, and why does it work so effectively? That inside of Amanita we have muscimol. We have like more than 50 healing elements, but muscimol is the main component which helps us to get control with our soul, the control over our reptilian brain. So our brain is structured to 3 levels. On the bottom one is the reptilian brain. In the reptilian brain, this is exactly that place which develops all of those chemicals which are connected with negativity, stress, anger, fear. And thanks to muscimol, the reptilian brain becomes 25 times more peaceful. And of this reason, we can finally, jump out from that, let's say, addiction towards negativity and stress where we were. But if we don't make the actions of going out from there, when we stop Amanita taking, we're going to fall back into the old patterns of our brain. So that's why it is so important. You're working with Amanita and you want to really to transform and to let go of sicknesses, be ready to work with yourself. Be ready to discover something about yourself. Listen to yourself. Start to pay attention upon your feelings and the things which matter to you. So you would always get those insights which help you to become more happy. Remember that happiness is literally the light of your soul. Like, the green light. When you're driving a car, when there's the green light and it shows you the way, well, here, your happiness is the green light of your soul, which shows you where you need to go. And if you're feeling happy, then you're doing and you're guiding yourself to the correct direction where your soul wants to be, doing those things which are important for the soul, or fulfilling the purpose of my reincarnation, why my soul created this physical avatar and what it's following, what it wants to do here. So for that reason, no, happiness is the language of the soul. You do what makes you happy, you're gonna get healing, you're gonna get powers, you're gonna transform your old self and get the things what you need. And for that, you need to be ready to work upon yourself. So let me now share with you some things which can assist a person to let go of addiction, medication, and etc. So first of all, you can, when you start to work with Amanita, I'll share some insights with Amanita. You have to formulate exactly, Amanita, please help me to cure, to understand, and to let go of this specific sickness or this specific addiction or this specific trauma. So be exact, say what you want. When you say, the powers can focus and help you, because if you don't request, nobody will help you upon this topic. So that's first thing, formulate what you need, understand what you need. If you don't understand yet with what to start, you can ask Amanita, please guide me into understanding what will make my life better, what will make my life more happier, what I have to do to take care of myself, what do I have to do to start to love myself, what I need to do so my life would be filled with energy, happiness, and beautiful people, and that reality which I feel I deserve. So formulate and ask. If you don't formulate and ask, the let's say the powers of Amanita will be limited with that help which it can provide you. That's first thing. Second thing, after you formulate it and ask by Amanita, I highly always recommend to start to lead the diary, because simply we heal through the conclusions that we make. I'll repeat, we heal through the conclusions that we make. Every conclusion that you make with your soul, with your consciousness about your life, helps you to transform your attitude towards the surrounding reality. So if we make a conclusion, we change our attitude towards this or that topic, which lowers down the importance in the vibration, and we get a new result. Life is perfect. If you see that the world is not perfect, and you don't feel that this world is beautiful, it just means that still inside there are some parts of us which feel pain, which want to find problems because the problems are inside, and they put and reflect this pain and problems on the surrounding world. Imagine that this world is already perfect, because it is perfect. You get what you feel. You feel the world is unfair. You feel the world is angry upon you. You feel that the world wants to betray you. It will, because it's just a mirror. You feel that the world loves you. You feel that the world is perfect. You feel that everything is created for you, so you would be happy. Boom, and you get it. You understand how perfect this game is? It's just an individual mirror which always reflects what you feel inside. Those lessons, what you are going through inside. So without learning the lessons, no transformation will happen. So every conclusion matters. And we're making the diary so we can analyze and self-reflect and see what are the important conclusions that I'm sending myself from the level of my soul and through the reality that I'm living through the people, through the events, through everything what surrounds me. So by making a conclusion, this creates a change. So, and how to do it? Let's say how more effectively we can achieve that. We need energy. Amanita, luckily, it gives the energy, but we need to take care of our avatars that we would have enough of energy without Amanita. Amanita won't be, how it's called, starch, crutch, you know, when you broke something and you have like this stick that you always rely on. Amanita it will never be. It can be for a moment while you're transforming, but it won't stay in your life forever to being your support. You have to understand that you are strong enough without anything. You're already whole. You already have all of the powers and the energy. You have to start to believe into yourself And if you're not believing right now in yourself, start acting respectful towards yourself and start doing things which will give you more love, more support, which will increase your amount of energy, which will help you to see your own power. Start to act kind, not towards the surrounding people, but finally start to act kind to yourself. Stop self-criticizing yourself. Stop destroying the value of the results of your life. Stop criticizing yourself for the past, what you went through. Look on the past in your life as a treasure, of your own creation. And that all of this, even the hardest experience, even the shittiest experience, it helped you to become who you are right now. That's cool. You understand? Or your hard past and the things can give you energy and give you strength and make you proud of yourself. Or it can lure you down to a swamp filled with pain, suffering, and blah, blah, blah. So to change this perspective, this is with what Amanita helps, but it's only for you to focus your own consciousness on that, what is important for you. So of that reason, if you want to get a faster result, start to take care of yourself. Start to work with your physical body, emotional body, and mental body. Physical body, start to go for walks, do sports in the morning, do yoga, go swimming, do Wim Hof breathing. Finally, start to work with your physical body. If you don't work with your physical body, you won't have the energy. There's a very, very good reason that we have a physical body. And if you don't use it, your body is paralyzed by other entities and energies, and you will never have the energy. A person who does in the morning 15 minutes of sports will have at least 40% more energy than a person who doesn't. That's how biologically our body works. You just do 15 minutes of sports and yoga in the morning, your day, you're gonna have at least 30 up to 40 and 50% more energy. So take care of your physical body. Do massages, do runs, find what you like and just do it. But do it constantly, every day, implement this habit. So first, physical body, emotional body. How can we take care of our emotional body? Well, first of all, to let go of all of the toxic people around. Let go of the people who don't bring you happiness. Let go of the people who don't bring you inspiration. Let go of the people who are eating your energy or who are in the shitholes and they like to discuss shit and all they see is shit. Because who you surround yourself, that is on what the vibration of your brain connects, and that is what you receive. There's a very good saying like, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. I'll tell you even more. Think of your 10 friends or people with who you spend the most amount of time, analyze them, look how positive, negative they are, look how much money they get, look on their goals, their aims, their dreams, and take this 10 friends, divide it, and this is you. That's it. So that's why it is so important that if you decided to jump out from those, let's say, addictions and pain and sicknesses and negativity, focus on surrounding yourself with people who already have what you want to have. So you want, for example, to be happy, find people who are happy, who are doing those things and living the life that they're happy. You want to be rich, find people who have already made the money. You want to be famous, find people who are famous and who are actors or, I don't know, they have achieved their success in their fields. And eventually, with who we surround ourselves, that is what we get. You want a good, loving relationship? Well, find people who already have that what you desire. They will share the wisdoms, they will share those vibrations, which will assist you to go into that vibration that you would attract yourself, that partner with who you want to be, on that vibration which you want to have. And remember that if you will spend your time with old friends only because you know them for a long time, well, you'll be where your friends are, you know? But always think of this one important fact. You came here alone with your soul, and you're going to go away from here alone. You won't take your friends, you won't take your family, you won't take your richness, nothing. Everything will be left in this physical world. So, for that reason, it's about time to understand everybody are responsible for themselves, and that's it. And if you really want to assist your family or friends, go from that swamp of shit to a more happy reality, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And so that it would be easy, surround yourself with the people who have those things and who have that attitude and that vibration which you like, which brings you inspiration, which brings you happiness, which brings you the comfort to your soul. And always remember, in who you invest your energy, that is what you receive. That's why healthy, successful, people who have done a lot of work upon themselves, they don't like to meet with people with the majority. They have their specific people with who they meet because they understand every time if they would meet with everyone, it's such a loss of energy in assisting everyone or like dragging them up to that state and level where they have. For developed and happy people, it's a lot easier just to be by themselves. They will enjoy life in a more fulfilling way rather than explaining the others how it should be. So, but that's why just know that the more developed you want to become, focus on yourself, focus on finding the people who can assist you, value them, and find ways on how you can connect with them. Be a good person, or find yourself a teacher, find yourself a coach, find yourself a good psychotherapist, find the money, but just you would have your time spending in the correct surroundings. With who you surround yourself, that is what you receive. That's why it's so crucial to find for yourself the right people that will help you automatically to get to that level where you want to. So that will really help your emotional body. Secondly, try to filter not only the people, but also the videos and the music that you listen to. Try to create for yourself if you liked, like I used to love like hardcore, like rock and alternative rock and such music, which really increases your energy. Well, try to find for yourself music which your soul likes, but which will be more inspiring, which will be more beautiful. And create for yourself those playlists which will support you in your path. At the same time, look at that content that you watch on YouTube or on internet. If you're gonna constantly watch about I don't know, conspiracy theories, or you're gonna watch about the war or about economic crisis and etc., you will connect with that energy and will drag you down. So best of all in your life, focus on that content which helps you to understand yourself. Find that content which assists you to be focused on yourself. I'll repeat one more time. Find that content which helps you to focus on yourself. This is the only valuable content which you can take for yourself, because all of the capitalistic world tries to take away our attention from ourselves. And the true spiritual warriors are the ones that focus their consciousness upon their soul and themselves and not the surrounding world. All of the people who have a lot of traumas, they try to save the world and explain everybody why this world is shit. And all people who know how this world works, they just focus on their own life and their own happiness. And they understand that by changing their own vibration, all of reality changes. And that every person in this world is just there where he needs to be. And he lives that life which he deserves. He lives the life with what he has given to the world. So or he has given to himself. So always remember that. It is very important, first of all, to take care of your own soul. And then already, when you're happy, you can assist other people. If you're not happy with yourself and you cannot be peaceful just in your own company, like for 3 days or for a week, there's no meaning on helping others. There's no meaning in trying to save the world, because we can only share what we have inside. Like a painter, he can only paint a picture with that what he has inside of him. He feels happy, he's gonna paint a beautiful, happy picture. He has pain inside, he will paint a picture filled with pain, even though it can be colored with bright, beautiful colors. The energy doesn't change. So that's why our own energy and the focus of taking care of our physical and emotional body is very important. And of course, mental body. And how to transform mental body? Well, it's all interconnected with choosing the right content, choosing right people, understanding what I truly want, doing those things which are healthy for me, which help me to respect myself more, help me to love myself, help me to take care of myself. And once it will be clear for you who you are and why you're here and what is your mission for this reincarnation, it will be very, very easy for you to filter out all of people, all of projects, all of content, of everything that you don't need. Boom. And that's it. So eventually, I hope this gives the understanding. So to heal from a sickness, from addiction, or pharmaceuticals, we have to increase our level of energy. This level of energy helps us to understand what is the lesson inside of us that is happening. And with the lesson, we understand the conclusion. The conclusion changes our attitude towards the surrounding reality. And by lowering this vibration conflict inside of us, everything changes around. So I hope this gives you a more clear understanding on how Amanita helps and works with and can help with letting go of medications, or as I like to say, with pain and conflicts inside. Because every medication is just reflecting that you're human, all of us are human, but there's a conflict inside that you haven't yet solved. Solve this conflict inside, and you will fully heal. Give yourself the time, give yourself the support. It will take some time for transformation, but you will achieve it, because we always get on what we focus on. You know your aim, you know your goal, and you make those actions which guide you there. If you forget about your goal, if you forget about your aim, it is very easy to lose your energy on something which you don't need. And always remember, to break through from an addiction or to break through medication, you need to be ready to go through stress, through pressure, which will be rising from the inside. And it's totally normal that we have pressure. And I would say it's a blissful thing that we feel pressure inside, because thanks to this pressure, we can jump out from the swamp and understand a new thing, a conclusion. Or say, I'll give a simple example. Let's say here, when a man has problems, he has problems here, there, he's like sinking in a river. And so eventually, while he's sinking, everything, he's all depressive, he's all that. And then eventually when he hits the bottom, if he doesn't have any medications, if he doesn't have anything limiting that pain that he feels inside, he will become furious. He will become just furious towards his own life. He will have such anger that he will say, that's enough. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna live the life that I deserve. I will be happy. I'm gonna have a beautiful relationship. I'll be healthy. And he will make that conclusion and decision, which will allow him to jump out from that swamp, through that drowning river, and to jump out and to create that reality. But if the man is taking medications, for example, and he is not allowing himself to go through that pressure and pain inside, then he can just drown and sit there and think, life is so horrible. This world is so wrong. Why was I born? And sit in depression for a very, very, very long time until he won't get the extra boost of energy and he can go to the next stage. So that's why be ready when you're letting go of addictions or medications or anything else, that it's a spiritual process in which you have to overcome your old self. The only way how you can overcome your old self is to save your energy and to allow this energy to bring you to the next level through your own conclusions. And the conclusions will guide you to the new actions. And if you do the correct actions, you always will get the results that you desire. So that's why always have it clear for yourself. Where are you heading? What you want to achieve? Formulate, understand. And that's why the soul is the main, let's say, goal and aim, because it guides us the fastest way to those things which are important and which will help us to achieve what we desire. So that's why don't feel pity to yourself. Having pity to yourself destroys your power. Treat yourself with respect and love and be proud even of the, let's say, the mistakes that you did. And by understanding, but you can do that only then when you take that energy and you do the correct new actions. So allow yourself to treat yourself with love, and at the same time, allow yourself to feel sometimes angry, to feel yourself sad. It's totally normal. But just use this energy which is opening up inside of your avatars, so to focus on that what you need, because nobody will be able to do the work for you. Only you can understand what is happening here inside of my consciousness, what is happening here inside of my physical body, emotional body, mental body. And there are many tools which can help us to understand what is happening inside. And so about these tools, I share a lot in Amanita Muscaria diary course. But there's so many tools, just working upon yourself, working upon your physical, mental, emotional body. So I would say these are the main crucial things which I wanted to share with you on the topic of pharmaceuticals and addiction. And now some practical stories from the, let's say, from my working experience. I had many people who were under antidepressants or opioids or benzos and different types of medications, which are very hardcore. People start to use Amanita Muscaria, and they usually start to use it at the same time when in the beginning to take together with the medication. The beautiful thing about nature that it is not a chemical medication. Chemical medication usually has a structure, if you look under a microscope, of a crystal which is suppressed together. It's like the element that heals you, it is just suppressed together like a brick. And that eventually when our body needs to take something out, it's very hard for our body to take that element from that pill. So there's some tests were made about, for example, vitamins. Yeah, vitamins became a big thing in the 20th century. A lot of money is being made on vitamins. So when we eat a vitamin pill, some of the pills, our body can absorb only 1% of them. By some, it can absorb 5%. But 95% or 99% of that vitamin is just being stuck in our system or then just goes out. What happens when we're using plant-made medicines? Their structure of the elements is not suppressed like a crystal. It is divided. It is quite like every element is separated. It has like many elements. When we speak about Amanita, it has many elements. So eventually, when it gets inside of our body, it knows, this is part of nature. I have worked with this for over millions of years. I need this element, I need this element, and this one. But the rest I don't need. I'll flush them away. And it goes out. Like plant medicines don't get stuck inside of our systems as chemicals do, because chemicals are unnatural, have an unnatural structure for our bodies to digest. So that's why it is totally cool and fine, usually, to combine medicine plants together with medications. With Amanita, it is very smooth when a person is, for example, is on opioids or antidepressants. They just start to microdose with Amanita. They microdose, and eventually, usually towards the second week or even on the 10th day, the effect of the musabal upon the reptilian brain already is being reflected. The amount of stress and pain lowers down, and people start to let go of medical medications. Like from my experience, like I had, for example, people who were taking like for a year, like 2 pills of antidepressants with other things, and already in 1 month, already towards the 4th week, they would let go, for example, 75 or 80% of taking the pill, and then after 2 months, in a smooth way, they would let go fully of medication. I have people who were taking like 4 antidepressants. I have people who were taking different benzos medications. And for all of them, it usually took from 1 to 2 months to let go of the medication they were on. And this, of course, was connected with also the work that they were doing upon themselves. Because it is important to know, once you let go of the medication, which was suppressing your feelings, emotions, and energy, you're going to have material codes rising from the inside. So there was in the beginning also participating in our stream, for example, Esteban. Right now he's flying to Tenerife. He had a story that he was for 10 years in chronic maniac depression. And then he was taking like everything and he couldn't heal. And eventually he participated in the course of Amanita Muscaria diary. He started to use Amanita Muscaria. And then in 1 month, he understood what he has to do and he got changes, but they were not big. He was still not feeling until the end happy. And then eventually he didn't give up. He continued pushing forward, continued to work with Amanita, and then he came for a ceremony to Switzerland. And then in the ceremony, he didn't have such a deep experience, which he was hoping for, but he got an experience and he understood that he wants to continue. And then eventually on the 3rd month, he already let go of all medication, but he wasn't still feeling happy and said like, Vadim, like I'm off medications, I'm taking Amanita, but I still don't feel happy in my life. And told him, well, if you were taking medications for 10 years, well, clean your body, fast. So he fasted, he did breathing techniques, and boom, he started to become alive. He started to feel happy again. He started to become active. And now, let's say from where he was, he is right now flying to Tenerife to observe how the dolphins and how the whales are swimming, eating raw food, and visiting his friend who's doing their agricultural project. Afterwards, he's planning to come for a visit here to Thailand. So, and if you would see how was his life just 4 months ago in the last 10 years, you would say that it's impossible. Everything is possible, but with the work. So that's why here are just some examples on how it can help to let go of like antidepressants and opioids. There were also tests made in Russia by my friend. He is the main mycologist of Russia, like, you know, like Paul Stamets of Russian culture, where they made scientific tests inside of a hospital where they had like, it's a placebo test where they had 50% of the medications had Amanita muscaria, and the other pills were made just from simple mushrooms. And they were given to people who have, you know, like a chronic depression and like pressure. And eventually the results were quite astonishing. They did this test upon like 120 people, if I'm not mistaken. And already after 1 month of the experiment, they were shocked and surprised that the effectiveness of Amanita with the level of peacefulness that is created is compared with Xanax. You know, Xanax, a very strong medication drug which lowers down the feeling, but it has no side effects. Amanita has no side effects compared with Xanax. And plus, people are conscious. It created a very strong connection between the psychotherapist and the person who's taking Amanita, which helped them to create very beautiful results in a very short amount of time. So these are some of your tests from the hospital. Eventually, there will be some scientific papers also published upon it. Yes, Xanax is from the benzo group. So this is towards the question about can Amanita help with such diseases which the benzo group or opioids are helping? Yes, they can. They're already being used. Just the scientific researches are not yet published on English language, and you just have to research them. Or there's many interesting studies done upon Amanita muscaria in different parts of the world, in Canada, in Germany, in Russia, in Asia. But you have to research the internet, you have to know different languages and etc. to go to the point. And many of these, scientific researches are written down in a scientific language, which not everybody are trained to read. But the results are quite astonishing. So that's why just know that Amanita is a great thing that you can use for Xanax or benzo or opioids. And it's a lot more safe. And it's a good thing to use them together, and then smoothly, as the amount of Amanita muscaria increases, you lower down the chemical, let's say substance. And eventually you let go fully of the chemical, you stay on Amanita, you work upon yourself, and then you fully become self-efficient and independent. So, and thanks to the lecture, I hope now you understand why it's important not to suppress the energy, but to work with it. That only by suppressing the level of energy, the person won't let go of depression, he won't let go of the pain. It's important to transform it. If it's hard to do for you alone, find a specialist and do it. So, yeah, I can continue on with other examples, but these were the first ones which came to my mind. Maybe, well, yeah, I would say that now we'll just go to already the section of question and answers towards the things that you have written down, because I think I have shared enough on this topic for today's stream, and I think you got already more than enough of different information to chew through. I can continue, but let's keep it in a balance. So now I'll go towards the questions which we have inside of our chat and which you have sent me. So let's go from the chat first. So question from Ragal. Severe alcoholics have heavily damaged livers. A frequently asked question, is the strain on the liver by Amanita muscaria? Is there anything to pay attention to? How to prevent further damage? So Amanita muscaria doesn't have, the dry Amanita muscaria doesn't have any effects on the liver. You can easily use Amanita muscaria and a lot of it if you have alcohol, if a person is an alcoholic. I have healed many people from alcoholism thanks to Amanita muscaria. I remember I had cases, especially in Goa, when a person, well, he has like chronic, many people who were born in the Soviet Union drink a lot of alcohol. And for them, it's their natural path of how to open their souls and etc. So, and these people, especially of elderly age, they can sometimes drink for months, like literally for months. And eventually they don't know how to get out of this situation. And so what I do, I just started to make tea from Amanita muscaria and allow the person to drink it. And he was drinking on a daily basis and already like in 1 week, totally transformed. Most people who are under alcohol, they try to usually suppress feelings and they usually try to suppress what is rising from the top. Or in the opposite, they have a lot of suppressed things inside, and they need to, let's say, or transform them, which they don't do because alcohol just gives you like a boost for a small amount of time. And eventually, by the researchers which have been already done in the last 3 years on the Russian audience around the world, we see that more than 70% of all people who start to microdose let go of alcohol. Imagine 70% of all people who are drinking alcohol, when they microdose, they let go of alcohol and they don't want to return. Because people drink of pain. If they start to feel happy, they stop drinking. And certain elements inside of Amanita Muscaria impacts the same neurons which impacts alcohol. And through that, when a person starts to feel happy, he doesn't want to drink again. He doesn't want to feel that shit again, which he feels on the next day after he drank alcohol. So that's why microdosing is one of the fastest way how you can help and cure a person from alcoholism. So if you have friends who really want to let go of alcohol, provide them Amanita Muscaria, tell them that they should microdose and they should request by Amanita healing from alcohol, and it will happen eventually in 1-2 months. It will happen automatically, even without big work. It's just like the 70% of people who let go of alcohol, these tests were done upon people who were not even requesting healing from alcohol. You understand? They were not even doing the work. It just happened automatically because of the elements inside of Amanita Muscaria. So, and in dry Amanita, there's nothing which can impact the liver. The liver partly can impact Ibotenic acid, but it exists in the fresh Amanitas. In dry Amanitas, it usually is transformed into into muscimol. So correct preparation of Amanita has only healing effects. It doesn't have any damaging effects on the liver or the brain or whatsoever. So following next question, following Gabor Mate, addictions is often rooted in trauma, dealing with depression. What is your view and approach on this? Well, I think you have heard from me that all the problems are fully connected with traumas and fully connected with pain inside. And all of the sickness are fully connected with a conflict inside. There's not a single sickness which is not connected with a conflict inside. Once you heal the sickness, find the conflict and find the sincere answer which you're sending yourself to the soul, and it will transform. So, is there a benefit from Amanita Muscaria for dry ex-alcoholics? Well, I hope I answered this question. Unbelievable. For now, I haven't seen any pharmaceutical chemical which would bring such results as dry Amanita Muscaria does. So if you have people who want to let go of alcoholism, give them a gift as some Amanita Muscaria microdosing kits. How can opioids for chronic pain aspirates be replaced with Amanita? I already also think answered this question through the example of the hospital and those tests which were made, that the results of Amanita Muscaria effects are even compared with Xanax, only without any negative, past effects. So that's why you can easily use Amanita Muscaria just with a higher dosage. And remember, microdose on a basis so that the amount of muscimol would increase inside of the body. And towards the 7th, 10th, 14th day, you will totally see that you feel conscious, you feel peaceful, and you don't need any more of the chemical medications to be addicted to it. Next question. How to integrate Amanita Muscaria into your healing path when you also have to rely on the modern medicine system. Very simple, integrate Amanita Muscaria together with your medications and eventually start to work upon yourself. And smoothly, you can let go of the medications, you can transform the pain inside of you and heal, and eventually let go also from Amanita Muscaria in being fully present and seeing that you have all the powers of being happy by yourself with your own resources. I'll turn on the light just a sec. Uh-huh. So, next question. Are there different approaches to deal with bodily or mentally addictions? I hope that during today's lecture I have answered that it's all interconnected. Everything is interconnected. And if you want to have healing, magical healing effects on your physical body, you have to work with your emotions and your mental body, with the way how you think and what you think about the world, yourself, and etc. Negativity destroys, and positiveness helps you to connect and to get love and support. So, and how you can change from being negative and being positive, start to take care of yourself in a conscious way and give yourself the time to transform the energies inside and give the time for your body to move from the old patterns to the new patterns. Just treat yourself with love during the period that you have the transformation. Everything takes time. So I have here also some private messages. I'll open another chat. So a question. I've been working with Amanita Muscaria for around 6 months and feel it helped me in certain aspects, but I couldn't heal my sex addictions from the age of 16, 17, or even before. What am I doing wrong, or how can I overcome it? You have to simply feel yourself comfortable in having, well, first of all, you set yourself an exact aim. You know what you want from life. So if you want to have, for example, beautiful relationship, or you want to have a relationship where you have a beautiful sexual relationship, you have to keep that in mind. That is your goal. That is your aim. So once you start working upon yourself, this is where you focus your energy. So to have good relationship, to have a good sexual relationship in real life, what do you need? You need to learn to be yourself. You need to learn to communicate. You have to learn to take care and connect with the opposite sex. You have to develop those skills which will help you to be a good partner. So every time when you feel that from the inside suppression is rising, focus this energy on the actions which guide you here and not back there. So if you feel that, for example, you want to lose your energy and, for example, to masturbate or whatsoever, you keep your goal here, you see it, and you focus your actions which will guide you there. Then you go for dances, you go to cafes to meet, for example, people. You organize yourself dates. You just do, you act. You don't think, you act. You have extra energy, you start acting. You always act, which helps you to get there. And you don't waste your time upon repeating the old patterns. You put it a block. You don't allow yourself to go back to those old patterns. You see the aim and you fully focus your actions upon it. Who makes correct actions, he gets results. So remember, your actions matter. You repeat old actions, you'll fall down back into the old pattern. You make new actions and you focus upon your goal, you're gonna get what you want. Maybe it won't come in 1 week, in 2 weeks. But with every step, with every action that you make, you're gonna come closer and closer and closer, and your brain will switch, switch, switch. And then when you're gonna get what you wanted, you will feel so happy. You'll be so much enjoying that relationship and connection that, boom, at that point, you won't want to go back. It's the same as with alcoholics. They start to eat amanita, they start to feel happy, they start to feel energized. They don't want to go back to the headache. They don't want to go back into that shithole where they were. And the same thing happens with any type of an addiction. Just have your goal in front of you. Make yourself a plan with actions that guide you there. And with every new energy that is opening inside of you, and also every time when there's like something pushing you and stressful, focus on the new actions. Don't repeat the old patterns. Focus new actions. New actions lead you to new results, and give yourself the time to get there. Don't lose your energy. Don't waste your energy on the old, and then everything will work out in a magical, beautiful way. Have your aim in front of you, have a list of actions that guide you there, and just act. Who acts, he always gets what he wants. And could high dose of amanita help more than microdosing in this case? Uh, well, if you ask amanita and you take a big, let's say, dosage for guiding you through this, it might guide you. But here, the guidance, the main guidance in changing our old patterns are our actions. So eventually, the responsibility, we're only the ones who are carrying it. So it is just important for a moment of your healing can change to use your willpower in doing new actions, in using your willpower of letting go the old, in using your willpower to give yourself the support and the love, and not to allow yourself to fall back into the negativity and the old reality where we're used to be. So know that if you're going to a new location, you need to invest the energy to get there. So be on your track, have your goal and your aim in front of you, and just act only in those ways and those things which help you to get where you want to. If you will want a good relationship and etc., take care of your body, take care of your health, learn to communicate, learn to express your emotions and feelings, learn to organize dates, learn to enjoy time with people without wanting to have sex with them, learn to be friends with everyone who you enjoy. And eventually, this will develop you all of the skills that you need to develop a wonderful relationship. And most important, have a good relationship with yourself. Because until you won't have a good relationship with yourself, people won't have a good relationship with you. Know that. So the foremost thing for a good relationship, have a beautiful relationship inside of you with yourself. And then people would get attracted to you because they will see and feel that you are a person that loves yourself. And if you love yourself, then you can love others. If you don't love yourself, it will be, people know that if the person doesn't love himself, how can he share or she share the love with others? It's impossible. So that's why always any relationship on the first hand to create it, focus on creating a wonderful relationship with yourself. Once you have it, you will be very attractive to everyone because everybody dreams about having a partner who can share the love, who can share the support, and who can, let's say, give you the love that you need. And that special person can, first of all, has to be you for yourself. You're going to have it, you're going to find an awesome partner. And if you don't love yourself and you don't take care of yourself, well, those are the partners that we will find on our path, which will reflect the dynamics which we have inside. And through that, we're going to be attracted to sick people or, I don't know, psychologically broken people. Everything what we have inside, we attract. So you want to attract healthy, sexy, beautiful, happy people, take care of yourself and you will attract them. That's it. Whole secret of finding your soulmate. We meet our soulmate when we are ready and when we feel that we don't need nobody to feel happy. Once you are at that state, boom, you're going to meet your soulmate. and you're gonna go through that unbelievable magical story that they show in film. But trust me, in real life, it will be a lot more awesome. So now I'm gonna go to the chat. So I'll try to go from the very top. The first one, Stefan or Esteban. Hello, everybody. Sitting at the gate at Frankfurt Airport to Tenerife. Unfortunately, I can't participate. Goo. Towards the sun. I wish an amazing question and answer session with Master of Amanita Muscaria. This is exactly the comment from Esteban. This is exactly the person who had for 10 years chronic depression, which had to use a lot of, did everything like what the doctors did. He did everything what the doctors did. And eventually, with 3 months of working with Amanita Muscaria, he's now again living the life that he always wanted. So this is all real. And this is a living example in our chat here right now. Hugs to all of you. So, Mela, hello from Berlin. Greetings. So I'm gonna go to the question. Is the mind, so question from Fergus, is the mind the door bouncer to the soul? Yes, it is. The mind, it's a place where our soul plays, where it's located, but our mind is not our soul. Our mind is more like a biocomputer, like the mental body. It's like literally like a computer, a program, which helps us to experience the physical experience here. So if our soul didn't have a physical body, it couldn't interact with this physical world. So once the soul gets a physical body, it gets inside of the mind. Through there, it plays like through a character inside a computer game with this reality. So that's why the mind, the brain, is the keeper of our soul, but it's not the soul. And it's exactly that second player with who we're always communicating inside. The second voice inside of our head with who we're talking, this is typically our own mind. So in this way, yeah, our mind, it's kind of the bouncer, the reflection of our soul, but it's not the soul. It is one of the elements which just helps us to experience life here. So next question. I can subscribe everything Vadim says, healed from anxiety and depression and permanent negativity with Amanita Muscaria after 4 months of microdosing. 12 years fucked up from the reptilian. Everything kind of blowing away. Amazing lecture. Thank you. My best results so far with intentions, requests to tidy out, other requests have been ignored. Well, it's important just to create clarity in the requests that we make, that they would be connected with our soul. So find those things which are truly important for your soul, ask them by Amanita, and then the results and the effects will unfold even stronger. Because if our soul becomes happy and it gets what it needs, it gives extra support in having the magic in our lives. So magic happens when we're doing something what is important for our soul. If you formulate your requests which are truly important for the soul, you're going to get even stronger support from yourself and Amanita Muscaria because it's aligned with the path of your soul. So where can we see this research? Right now, for the research is not translated into the English language. The experiment lasted for 1 year, and I think it just finished, I think, in January. So I hope that within the next 2-3 months, I'm going to have this research in paper form or the details in Russian language, and then maybe I can translate it and share it. I'm sure it will be afterwards also translated into English. But for now, it is just in Russian language and it's not yet published because the experiment lasted for 1 year. This, what I shared with you, were the results already after 1-2 months of working with Amanita Muscaria and the placebo pills. So the next question. So how strong did you make the tea for the alcoholics? Well, I would say, yeah, with the alcoholics, you can start with let's say half gram, 1 gram to put it into the tea in the morning, and let's say half gram, 1 gram in the evening. Most important that it would be on a daily basis, just on a daily basis. So the amount of muscimol would increase, would increase, would increase. The GABA receptors become peaceful, the reptilian brain becomes peaceful, the person becomes more conscious. So it's not about the amount, it's about being constant. So repeating it, this is what helps to let go people of alcohol, because they simply start to see life in a more beautiful way in their normal state of consciousness. So how much to decarb? Could you please, Mela, explain what do you mean decarb? How much to dry the amanitas, or in which sense? So microdosing 0.5 gram to 1 gram. Usually I recommend the first week you can start with a higher dosage. If the person has some kind of sickness or pain, you can start the first week with microdosing like 0.5 gram in the morning, 0.5 gram in the evening, or even like 0.75 grams in the morning and the evening. And then in 1 week to lower down the dosage. And typically I recommend to take 0.3, 0.35 grams in the morning and in the evening. That is usually more than enough. Just do it on a daily basis, and that will create the magic. It was nice to meet you, my friend. Have to go now. Beautiful, Vladimir. Is the mind creating the reality? Well, this is already a very good question. It's quite a transcendent question. And in a certain way, yes, the mind is partly creating reality. Because if you think about this reality, then we think that there's a physical world, that we have feelings, that there's music and that and this. But actually, when you look at the structure of the brain, it's nothing more than just electronic impulses which impact inside of our brain those or those neurons. So in other words, if you have an energetic impact on those impulses, you can experience life without doing anything physical. So that's why closing your eyes and working with your consciousness and going through this or that reality, it's actually our brain really goes through that. He lives it through. So that's why learning to work with meditation, you can learn to work everything through inside of your consciousness without living it through in the physical world. And this is what do the great yogi and the tantra, let's say specialists and people who live in the mountains and meditate. They literally live an unbelievable life and reality just inside of their consciousness, and their brain is experiencing the same thing as people do in the physical world. But what they can experience there, it's far more unlimited than what we can do in this physical world in that amount of time, what we have here. So bless you, brother. Thank you for who you are. Thank you. Question: is there any more benefits to make tea of Amanita Muscaria than to take as powder? No, absolutely not. There's absolutely no difference. I just see, like, especially in kind of, I would say, American flow, that there's this information that you have to do, put a lot of Amanita Muscaria, then you boil it in a specific way, and then you have to keep it, and then to drink by drops. Like, why should you put all of the Amanita Muscaria, a big amount in this tea, when you can literally just use that amount of powder that you need like this, or to make it every time fresh, so that the Amanita Muscaria wouldn't spoil at all. If we're using it in a microdosing way, it's always will be official and will always bring a healing effect. And for that exact reason, my recommendation is always to use the powder. And if you want, just put the powder, put some water in, and use your tea. But don't use a lot of powder, making a lot of tea, and then put it into the fridge. In my opinion, it's ineffective because Amanita Muscaria will lose its healing properties simply because it stands there for a long time. Or you have to freeze it and then maybe you can save it. But a lot better to keep it in a dry form and then to, let's say, use it in that amount which you need. You are talking a lot about muscimol. Depending on the drying, you will still have a lot of ibotenic acid in it, which many people experience as energizing. So how important is to decarbonylation by drying or in making tea? It's okay not to answer this in depth. It gets maybe too sciencey. So I'll say like this, from my experience, if you're using in a microdosing way, you don't have to pay attention on all of these big details. Like the only time when I'm making a special type of boiling and preparing Amanita is when I'm doing Amanita Muscaria ceremonies, when I'm using like 15 grams of Amanita per person. Then in this sense, like Ibotenic acid can become like an issue that people will want to, like, for example, to vomit, or they will feel a cold towards it. In smaller amounts, it's not an issue at all. Like, from my experience, not an issue at all. I eat fresh Amanita Muscaria when I'm gathering them, and I have no stomach problems or whatsoever. So this topic of Ibotenic acid is a little bit, I would say, overhyped. In my opinion, and that in a practical way, it's everything is a lot more simple. Like the amount of, I'll tell you, fresh amanitas that you need to eat to get like a death poisoning with the ibotenic acid and etc. It has to be more than 15 kilos. 15 kilos of fresh amanita. Do you imagine like how much our stomach won't fill that in? So in this sense, I hope that this is kind of would be a reflection about the topic of ibotenic acid, that it has a small amount of it. And then especially when you're using a microdosing way, it's not an issue at all. If you take a bigger amount, then it could be an issue. Then maybe you have to boil it like with lemon and etc. and etc. But with the smaller amount, at all. And as I told you, now you know how much fresh amanitas you can eat until you get that dosage. So you would know if you would eat 4 kilos of salt, you will die. Or if you will drink 800 milligrams of vodka on empty stomach, you will also die. When you're working out with Amanita, is their favorite protocol to stack Amanita with holotropic breathings, psychedelics, vitamins. This is already, I would say, your individual game. Like every person is individual. All of us have our own favorite practices and things which help us to develop and help us to be who we are. Like I know the things how I like to use Amanita Muscaria, and actually, eventually, I use it up to the point that I don't need to use it. So I don't inspire you to have like a habit of using Amanita and thinking that it has to be a part of your life. It's a tool that you use for the moment that you transform, and then it's just a tool when you really need it. When it's hard for you, no, you're going through really strong changes and transformation, that you can then use it as an extra help and energy and peacefulness inside. During the transformation, what you will combine with Amanita, this is truly up to you. I like to combine it with yoga, with sports, with swimming, with breath work. This is what I do. What suits for you? Just try, experiment, and make your own perfect algorithms which suit you in the very best way. So what will be that special recipe of your most perfect, let's say, protocol of using Amanita Muscaria with other stuff? It's up to you. My just recommendation that those things and that protocol that you will create, it has to be focused as on the physical body, as on the emotional body, as on the mental body. That would be, I would say that is the most important thing. Just create a protocol that will cover all of the levels. Thanks, Vadim, for answering all the questions. You're welcome, Chatron. You're welcome. So, I would say that these are the most important things. Thank you for putting the work with Amanita Muscaria in a bigger spiritual picture and answering all the questions. You're welcome. You're welcome, Mela. So I would say for today, our stream is smoothly coming to an end. I will just say that we are right now already running a course of Amanita Muscaria Diary, and that if anybody will want to go through, let's say, a more guided and profound, effective way with working with Amanita in a group dynamic, the next one will happen in 1 month. So for anybody who are interested, just leave me a message and I'll see when the next course will happen and how long it will take and the cost and etc. So just drop me a message for the people who want to go into the group dynamics. And also, special news is that right now I have about like 2, or maybe I'll take 3 people if somebody wants to go into personal guidance. As I'm doing individual work with people connected with their self-development and their achievements based on what are your quests. They can be with your health, they can be with your relationship, they can be connected with your finances, they can be connected with anything what is important with your soul, in which I lead and guide in a personal way you through this 1 or 2 months based on how will be the transformation happening. So right now I have 2, well, maybe I can take 3 people who want to go through that. It costs more, but of course the effects and the personal approach always helps to receive even higher results. So if you feel like a call with it, just drop me a message and we can make a call, I'll make a diagnose about your life situation, and we can see how we can move on through the transformation, achieving those things which are important for you. So I would say for now, this is it. And please, it is very valuable for me to get from you your feedbacks, because only through your feedbacks I understand how clearly I share information and how much is it important or interesting for you. So please, after this call, in our group of Amanita Muscaria family, please share your feedbacks. What were your insights? What were the things that you liked? Which things were important for you or that they were new? Because your feedback, it will not only assist and help me in understanding how to continue the development of our community, but it will also help to integrate the most important information that you got for yourself into your own consciousness and brain. Usually, the feedback is it works in both ways. It helps me and it helps you to integrate the information. So that's why it's very valuable and helps me to understand more clearer. Am I clear in this physical world? Is the things that I'm sharing are understandable? Or maybe I'm just speaking with myself in a language that nobody understands. So I'll read out the final things in our chat. Thank you, Vadim. Incredible insights, Vadim. Grateful I attended this morning. Much love, brother. Thank you so much, Vadim. Thank you, Vadim. Thank you for the amazing explanation and care. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I feel already energized. So my deep gratitude for your participation for today. I'm very happy to see your energetic eyes. May the inspiration inspire you for new actions and made for you more clearer which actions you have to do to achieve what you want. And let me know if you want to participate the next month in the Amanita Muscaria diary, or if you want to quickly grab the chance to do some individual work. There's only like 2, maybe 3 places which are now available. So let me know. So much love, blessings, and let's continue to create heaven in our own lives. Namaste. See you, my friends. See you, my darlings.